The first check clears on a Friday, and it is more money than your last 2 weeks at the restaurant combined. You made it in 3 days. You are still wearing your work uniform when you see the notification. Nobody plans this career. Nobody sits in a guidance counselor's office at 17 and says, "This is what I want to do with my life." It finds you at a specific moment, a moment of pressure, of need, of someone you know mentioning a number that does not seem real until it is in your account, and suddenly it is the realest thing that has happened to you in years. This is your life at every level as an OnlyFans creator. Level 1. The rent is due in 11 days. You have done the math 3 times, and the math keeps coming back wrong. The shifts at the restaurant are not covering it. The side gig is not covering it. You applied for 2 jobs last week and heard nothing. You have a credit card with a limit you have already found, and a savings account that has been performatively empty for longer than you want to say out loud. A friend, not a close friend, someone from your college years who you follow on Instagram and who seems to be doing fine, messages you. She does not say what she does exactly. She says she makes her own schedule and she works from her apartment, and last month was her best month ever. You ask how much. She tells you. You do not respond for 2 days. In those 2 days, you do the thing that everyone in your position does. You research. You find the forums. You read the success stories. You read the horror stories. You find the threads where people talk about it with the specific combination of practicality and defensiveness of people who have decided something and do not need your opinion about it. You make a list of reasons not to. It is a long list. You make a list of reasons. That list has 1 item on it. The rent is due in 11 days. You make the account. You tell yourself it is temporary. This is the thing every person at level 1 tells themselves. Level 2. Posting is harder than you expected. Not the content itself. You have figured out the technical side, the lighting, the angle, the framing. You watched enough tutorials in the 2 days of research that you could teach a class on the production basics. It is the moment before you hit publish. You sit with your finger over the button for longer than you expected. You are not thinking about the money in this moment. You are thinking about every person you have ever known and the small but real possibility that any of them could be on the other side of this. You post. Nothing happens immediately. Then something happens. A subscriber. Then another. Then someone sends a tip with a message that is just a dollar amount with no words, and you stare at it because it is money for something you posted 20 minutes ago, and the specific novelty of that, of value being assigned to something you made that quickly, does something to the reward system in your brain that you did not entirely expect. You post again. The numbers are small. You are not making rent with this yet, but the mechanism is working. You can see how it works. You can see the logic of it. You tell yourself you will do this until you have a cushion and then stop. Level 3. You are treating it like a job now. Posting schedule, engagement strategy. You have learned what performs and what does not, and you have started adjusting accordingly. You reply to every message because the algorithm rewards it and because the subscribers who feel seen subscribe longer. The money is real now. Not life-changing, but real enough that the mental math has shifted. The restaurant job is still happening, but it is starting to feel like the side gig, and OnlyFans is starting to feel like the main thing. And that is a sentence you did not expect to be true 3 months ago. You have told nobody. Not your closest friend, not your sister, not anyone. You have developed a second life that runs parallel to your regular life, and you are managing both simultaneously. And the weight of the managing is something you notice but do not name yet. You start thinking about growth. You find communities where creators talk strategy, promotion, collaboration. The specific game theory of building an audience on a platform where the audience is paying for access, and the access is you. You set a goal, a real one, a number that means something. The number that means you could stop doing the restaurant job and just do this and actually be fine. You work toward it with the specific, focused energy of someone who can see the goal and is close enough that stopping does not make sense. Level 4. You hit the number. You quit the restaurant. You tell your manager a different reason because the real reason is not something you are saying out loud yet. Now you are doing this full-time, and the doing of it full-time is a different experience from doing it alongside something else. When it was alongside something else, it had a container. The restaurant was the real world, and this was the other thing. The container gave it limits. Without the container, it expands. You are working more hours than you worked at the restaurant, not because anyone told you to, because the platform rewards consistency, and consistency on a platform like this means availability, and availability means the thing that was temporary is now the structure of your entire day. You invest in equipment, a proper setup, lighting that does what you want, a workflow. You start thinking like a business owner because you are a business owner. Revenue, expenses, taxes. The taxes are the first moment you sit with a number and understand the full architecture of what you are operating inside. You hire an accountant. The accountant does not react to what you do. This is more valuable than it sounds. Level 5. You are at a family dinner. Someone asks what you are doing now. You have an answer prepared. Something vague. Content creation. Social media. You are working for yourself. The follow-up questions come, and you navigate them with the practiced ease of someone who has told this version of the truth enough times that the delivery is smooth. Nobody pushes hard enough to find the edge of it. You drive home, and you sit in the car outside your apartment for a few minutes before going inside. You have stopped telling people what you do for a living. Not because you are ashamed. You have sat with that word, turned it over, looked at it honestly. It is more complicated than shame. It is that the explanation is long and the judgment arrives before you finish it, and you have learned to conserve the energy that the explanation costs. But something else is happening under the practical decision to not explain. The self you perform on the platform and the self you perform in the rest of your life are diverging. You are becoming two people. Both of them are you, but they do not know each other very well. And the platform version is growing faster. Level 6. The numbers are large now. You have a subscriber count that would surprise people who think they understand how this works. You have a monthly income that is no longer in the range of covering rent. It is in a range that requires financial planning and decisions about investment and a conversation with a different kind of accountant. The platform is working. But you have also noticed something about how it works. It works best when you are always on. The creators who scale to your level and beyond are the ones who have dissolved the line between their life and their content. The relationship they sell is not access to a performance. It is access to a person. An ongoing, real-time, responsive person who is available and present and whose life is the content. You have started doing this, not consciously, incrementally. In the same way, every level of this has happened, one small decision at a time, each of which makes sense in isolation. The boundary between your life and your content is not gone, but it is thin. And the subscribers can tell when it is thin, because they can tell when you are giving them the real version, and they pay more for the real version, and the platform has taught you what the real version is worth. So you give more of it, because the math rewards it. Level 7. the leak happens, or the screenshot, or the person who paid for access and decided that access did not include a boundary, or the person from your hometown who found the account and told someone, and the someone told someone, and now there is a conversation happening in a group chat you are not in that is about you. This is not a hypothetical. This is the level that is not if, it is when. You find out the way people find out things like this now. A vague message from someone, a screenshot forwarded through a chain, a spike in a type of traffic that tells you something moved without your permission. The specific helplessness of this moment is unlike anything that has come before it in this video. Because your other levels had problems with solutions, this problem does not have a clean solution. The content exists somewhere you did not put it. The platform's response is a form, a reporting process, a timeline of weeks. The legal reality is complicated and expensive and not designed with your specific situation as the priority. You deal with it. You move through it. You come out the other side. But you come out the other side knowing something you cannot unknow. The content you made exists outside the container of the platform. It always did. You just did not let yourself fully sit with that until now. Level 8. You are more successful than most people who do this will ever be. That is the true and complicated thing about Level 8. You are in a very small percentage of creators on the platform. The income is real. The audience is real. The business is real. And you have made a series of quiet negotiations to get here. Not with the platform, with yourself. The things you said you would never post. Some of them you posted because the data showed they performed, and performing meant income, and income was the reason you started. The version of yourself you said you would protect. You have protected most of it. But most is doing some work in that sentence. The timeline you set for when you would stop. You have revised it several times. Not because you were forced to. Because the money is real. And the alternative is going back to something that pays significantly less for significantly more hours. And that arithmetic is hard to argue with once you have seen the other side of it. You are not unhappy. That is the thing that is hardest to explain to people who have decided how you should feel about your own life. You are not unhappy. You are someone who made a series of decisions that made sense at every level and arrived somewhere that is real and yours, and also costs something that does not have a clean name.
Level 9. You think about leaving. Not because things are bad, because you want to know if you can. You start researching what leaving looks like. Other creators who have left. What they did next. What their lives look like. What you find is not encouraging. The content does not leave with you. The internet does not delete things. Screenshots exist. Archives exist. The specific combination of your face and the content you made together is a permanent resident of the internet in a way that a different job is not. You can close the account. You cannot close the archive. This means that whatever you do next, whatever career, whatever relationship, whatever version of a regular life you want, will exist alongside the fact of what you did here. Not necessarily loudly. Maybe nobody will ever connect it. But you will know it is there. And the people who matter to you finding it is not a zero probability and never will be. You also find something else when you research the exit. The income is not portable. The subscriber base you built does not transfer to a different industry. The skills you developed are real, but explaining them in the context of this work is its own obstacle. You are very good at something that a significant portion of the professional world will not say out loud. Leaving is possible. It is just not clean. And the longer you stay, the less clean it gets. Level 10. It is Christmas. You did not go home. Not because your family found the account, though some of them did. And that conversation happened, and it was the conversation you had been avoiding for years. and it was exactly as complicated as you knew it would be. You did not go home because you are still trying to figure out which version of yourself walks through that door. The person your family remembers, the person the platform built, the person you actually are, which is somewhere in the architecture of both of those and also neither of them exactly. You are more financially secure than anyone in your family. You are lonelier than you have been since childhood. You send a gift. You write a message that is warm and real and carefully constructed to not require a conversation you are not ready to have. You close the laptop. You open it again. The notifications are there. They are always there. The platform does not have a Christmas. The subscribers do not stop being subscribers because it is a holiday. You have built something that runs on your continuous presence, and the running of it is not something you can pause. You look at the numbers. They are good numbers. You remember the restaurant uniform. You remember the rent being due in 11 days. You remember the list with one item on it. You are not that person anymore. You are not entirely sure who you are instead, but the numbers are good. And the next post is not going to write itself. Every OnlyFans creator starts at the same place. A specific moment of need meeting a specific mechanism that promises to solve it. The mechanism works. That is what makes it complicated. It is not a scam. The money is real. The autonomy is real. The business is real. What is also real is what the platform requires in exchange for the money, not the content. Your continuous, available, monetizable self. And the question nobody asks at level 1, because at level 1 you are thinking about rent, is whether the self that the platform builds over 10 levels is still the self you wanted to be when you started. Subscribe. Tell me which level hit different, and drop the next topic below.